Good afternoon and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. On the show, we're going to be taking a look at Twitter, Proofpoint, Amazon, and Etsy. But first, let's take a look at those major indexes. It's Alyssa Coram here with Ken Shreve, and it was an up day across the board, finishing the week with some nice gains at all-time highs. The Nasdaq up about 1.1% for the day. The S&P 500 up about 0.75% amid some strong earnings reports.
Yeah, a lot of. It's hard to keep track of which earnings reports to talk about, but it was really a great day of earnings, and overall it's been a great second quarter earnings season. But we had yet another new high for the Nasdaq today. Looks like a close up near its session high. Friday, summertime volume a little bit lighter than what we saw on Thursday, but still a pretty bullish day. And again, lots of good earnings reports to talk about.
Yeah, let's start things off with taking a look at Twitter, which gained about 9% in heavy volume today after issuing its quarterly report, which showed very strong earnings growth and another quarter of nearly 20% sales growth.
Yeah, they did, I think, $841 million in total revenue, and that was actually above prior guidance of $770 million to $830 million. So it was a pretty good quarter of sales growth at Twitter, and good user growth as well. So this is a company not that long ago. People were wondering when they were going to, get their house in order and start kind of churning out good fundamentals. But it does appear the company's firing on all cylinders right now. Good breakout for Twitter today. Closed a little bit off its highs, but definitely still in buy range here from a conventional entry of 41.02. So we're in a confirmed uptrend. This is the type of chart action that you want to be looking at, and still in buy range from a 41.02 entry.
Yep, that's right, about 1% above that with this gap up today, and that relative strength line looks like it's right around a short-term high of that handle. So that is also something nice to see here as well.
Yeah, a solid day overall.
All right, and turning our attention to Proofpoint, taking a look at that stock, it broke out of a base today, gaining almost 3% in heavy volume on its earnings report, Ken. So yet another quarter of 25% sales growth. So quite a streak here of strong top-line growth for Proofpoint in the security software space.
Yeah, so another strong performer in the security software group. The question is, a lot of security software stocks have broken out already. I mean, the real leadership in the group has already emerged. It's been emerging for several weeks now. So whether or not Proofpoint is a leader in the group is quite questionable at this point. Nonetheless, it was a good breakout for the stock today. Like Twitter, closed a little bit off its highs, but the buy point for Proofpoint was 127.88. It was a nice little breakout from a cup with handle base. Still looks to be an early stage breakout here, but again, the goal is to buy the industry group leaders. So you've got the Zscalers and you got the CyberArks and even CrowdStrike, a name that we've been talking about. So great quarter for Proofpoint. Not sure it's the leader in the group, but a good breakout for the stock today.
Yeah, you mentioned CyberArk. That stock has doubled this year, offering several buying opportunities. But it is good to be focusing on stocks from top groups, and this earnings growth of 64% was the strongest bottom line growth in about 6 or so quarters. So that stood out as notable to me.
Yeah, and you got to give Proofpoint credit, because if you go back the last 10 quarters, I mean, they've done no worse than 25% sales growth. So I mean, they're obviously selling a lot of product, and it's it's been a good performer in the group, and a good quarter.
Well, let's also now take a look at Amazon, which dropped about 1.7% on its earnings report, a slowdown on the bottom line. We did see sales growth of 20%, but Amazon Web Services sales decelerated for a second straight quarter. We also have competition for Amazon in the cloud computing space, namely from Microsoft and Google.
Yeah. So web services, cloud computing is definitely a big part of their business, and competition is definitely there for Amazon. The stock actually held up pretty well today. I mean, it did gap down. It looked like it managed to close in the upper half of its range. So this is a stock that by no means has broken down. It's still holding above its 50-day moving average. You can see it tried to break out over the 2,000 level, didn't get very far. It's just below a 1964 50 buy point now. So we're going to see how Amazon can handle itself over the next several days. So a little bit of damage done to the stock today, but nothing severe, and it's still hanging in there.
And while it is risky to buy a stock ahead of earnings, it did break out not too long ahead of its quarterly report. So for investors who did decide to buy the breakout at that point, no clear sell signal has been triggered yet. It's not too far down below that buy point, and it's still above the 50-day.
That's an excellent point. I mean, no sell signal triggered in Amazon. Again, we're keying off a 1964.50 buy point, so it ended Friday just a little bit below that entry, still above the 50-day moving average. So it by no means was a terrible quarter for Amazon, but and again, the web services growth, I mean, you're looking at year-over-year growth of 37%, which is still very strong. I think they did $8.38 billion in their cloud segment, which is pretty strong. But again, it was just a slight slowdown from growth the prior 2 quarters.
Well, we will keep an eye on that stock and see where it goes from here. But until then, we want to take a look at Etsy, which has its earnings results on the horizon coming out next Thursday. And it is edging towards a buy point heading into this report.
Yeah, lots of earnings reports next week. We're going to hear from Advanced Micro Devices early in the week. Intel, not such a great day today, but Etsy, this is a lot of respect for Etsy because it really is a very compelling fundamental story in the market. Robust earnings and sales growth in recent quarters. Really solid annual return on equity of about 19%. So that tells you it's a pretty well-managed company. Good annual earnings estimates and another strong quarter of growth expected. So this is just another favorable technical setup. It has been working its way higher. Ed Carson pointed out the stock's first close above 70 since March or so, and it's getting closer to a 73.44 buy point. So we'll see what earnings from Etsy look like next week.
That's a good point. Sometimes we've talked about how some stocks, maybe it's not quite an actual buy point, but they'll hit some resistance at a lower round number. So good to see Etsy back above that 70 level.
Yep.
All right, everyone, before we go, a very exciting announcement for you. IBD is launching a new weekly video series that will be at the Nasdaq market site in Times Square, hosted by me, and our first episode is August 5th. Here's a little preview. Hey everyone, it's Alyssa Corum with Investors Business Daily here, and I want to tell you all about our new series, Investing Strategies with IBD at Nasdaq, where we're coming to you each week from the Nasdaq market site in Times Square. Our show is all about helping investors make smarter decisions with their money by providing actionable insights. We'll analyze current market conditions through IBD's proven market timing perspective. We'll have analysts sharing the inside scoop on the hottest growth stocks from top performing sectors. We'll walk you through the best tactics for buying and selling top stocks and ETFs to give you an edge with your investments. And we'll get the latest strategic insights from trending companies straight from the executives themselves. So make sure to join us on August 5th for the first episode of Investing Strategies. All right, everyone, so excited. Can't wait for that. We've got a lot of great interviews and educational tidbits in store for you. And the guys are going to hold down the fort while I'm gone. I'm out on vacation next week. So the next time you will see me will be in this new investing strategy series. Pretty pumped.
Happy vacation to you, and good luck at the Nasdaq.
All right. And before we go, if you missed it, make sure you check out our podcast. A new episode just dropped yesterday, so you can check out Investing with IBD at investors.com/podcast. And a webinar is happening next week, How to Trade Like a Market Shark. That's happening on July 30th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can sign up or register for that now at investors.com/webinar. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching today, and we hope you have a great weekend.